I'm here with my brother, Devean Washington, and he's going to tell me about his COVID impact and how that's affected him while recovering from a torn ACL in the beginning of the year, as well as his senior year of high school and his plans for the future while dealing with COVID and as well as his athletics. So, first, I would like to introduce Devin. If you could just actually please say your name, your age, and where you're from.
My name is Devean Washington. I'm 17 and I'm from Downers Grove, Illinois.
I would like to start off with the first question. So tell me about your COVID experience, particularly the beginning of the year, pre-COVID, when we were just entering it, and how you started off the year with a torn ACL. How were you feeling in that moment when that happened?
Before I tore my ACL, I had an official visit to NIU and I was speaking to the head coach. And I have zero offers at the moment. And he just wanted to see me run a 100-meter time. So I thought, okay, this is perfect. I can finally get my first offer as soon as I run my 100-meter because I'm doing track. And so that day, I went to a combine and I was just doing a drill and I planted and I tore my ACL. And then all these negative thoughts started to creep in, and I didn't know if I tore my ACL until the MRI came, and that's when I felt at the lowest point of my life. And I wasn't really thinking positive. It was more of my family and friends who were thinking positive for me, and I started to rub off.
So you had talked about you felt at the lowest point and you didn't know exactly what was going to happen. Give me, let me know like what exactly was going through your head at that time. What were your thoughts?
That all the colleges were gonna stop talking to me. I wasn't gonna be able to play my senior year, and that my dream of playing Division I football went down the drain.
With the stay-at-home order taking effect in late March, around April, of course, most schools had to go to online courses for the remainder of the semester. With dealing with your torn ACL, and that was post surgery, as well as having to transition into online classes, how were you feeling in that moment? And do you think that gave you more time for your recovery and to focus on that while also having online classes, or did that kind of have a negative impact on you?
Um, Having online classes was definitely more of a positive effect on me. Just being able to, stay at home because I was on crutches. So just, it was hard getting to each classes on crutches and, it's just getting in everybody's way and all that. So it was a great opportunity for me to rehab more at home. And the classes I did online weren't really video classes. It was more as just assignments, get your assignments done. So there's really no teachers teaching. It was just you doing your assignments. So I kind of managed my time well, and I did rehab in the morning because I didn't have to be up for any classes. And then I did my classes after my rehab, and I'd have to rehab twice a day. So I did rehab after my classes too. So I think it just put me in a better spot for my knee.
So, most of the time when we actually talk about, you know, athletes with torn ACLs, we tend to forget about the physical and the mental change and like the mentality of it all, especially like post surgery. And I just kind of wanted to see exactly where your head was at and, what changes did you go through at that time and how did they impact you? Were there any self doubts, strengths or weaknesses, your eagerness to want to get better? Or did you feel that, this may not be an option for you and that maybe sometimes you did want to quit? So I just want to hear exactly what your input on that is and like how that did affect you during that time.
Well, it started right off the jump where I was in the bed after surgery, and they wanted to put this shot inside of me that would numb my knee. I mean, in pain because I was in so much pain, and I was like, "Well, what are the consequences of this?" And there's like, well, you wouldn't be able to start rehab for like 2 to 3 weeks. And I thought of the season. I was like, I can't be postponed 2 to 3 weeks after get started now. And so I endured the pain, and I was like, no, don't give me the shot. I don't want it. And that really just started, my jump from my ACL process. And then just physically, my leg was definitely skinnier than my right for sure because I had surgery on my left knee. And just losing all that muscle in the left knee and not being able to do any leg exercises for a good 3 months was very hard on me. Also, mentally, uh, I guess I'd say I was very strong minded throughout the whole process. There was some days where I'd skip PT because it was very boring, but for most part, I was motivated throughout the whole process, and I was able to get my exercises done.
And with that, Devin actually has something that he would like to announce in his decision making throughout this week. Devin, if you want to take the floor for that, and then I'm also just going to follow that up once you make that announcement.
Yes, after much consideration, I decided to continue my educational career and football career to the United States Naval Academy. I thought it would be best for me and my future family. It set me up for life, and also just the fact that my parents don't have to pay for college and don't have to worry about me there. It's just a blessing, and I just didn't want to pass up the opportunity to play at a top 25 school for football in the nation. And yeah.
So that's very exciting news, and that must be a total relief from now if you think about from the start of January through December. Um, exactly how are you feeling at this moment, knowing that your life is kind of did a 180 this year? You recovered from your tour ACL, and now you're about to go to the Naval Academy. So exactly, tell us how during that transition, because a lot of athletes go through this, and some actually get discouraged on exactly how they're going to move forward in the future with it. So tell if you have any advice for future athletes or people who are actually going through this, and student athletes that are going through this, what advice would you give them?
Well, to start off with what you said before, there's definitely still much more to be done. I still experience pain in my knee every now and then, and I just have a lot of more months to go before I'm ready to, become a true freshman at the United States Naval Academy, which is my goal. I just have to get into the swing of things with my defensive back work, and just really getting back into being a Division I athlete, as what I was before I tore my ACL. But the advice I give to student athletes who have tore their ACL is just to never give up, and that you always have God by your side. And I know it's a hard and long process, but it's definitely worth it at the end. And you just see how strong you become of a person mentally and physically.
All right. Well, you have it there. Thank you again, Devin, for doing this interview. I wish you the best of luck for the time to come when you actually do attend the Naval Academy. And we're always just rooting for you and wishing you the best. Thank you for joining this podcast. My name is DeAnte Washington. I'm joining Devean Washington. And that's it.